Hello, you legends. Welcome back to the Bigger Podcast. We are now on season 2, episode 9.
Hello, everybody.
And we have the wonderful Danielle Donoghue with us. We originally met Danielle through our simulations. We run a High Rock simulation once a month. And lo and behold, she landed up and caused mayhem, as you probably expect.
Dragged down, I would say.
Dragged down. And she means dragged down from Banbridge, not dragged down to our level before all the Macrofile people come up
Yeah,
in
I was
arms.
like, can my friend Danielle come? I'm like, yeah, your friend Danielle can come. And then Danielle shows up and we're like, oh, everybody's whispering. But it's
Stop.
Danielle. She's not a bit.
They were, and I was like, what do you mean? Like, what band is she? But that's the joys of social media. Danielle, tell us a bit about, we're obviously going to go back through your whole, no, we'll just do it normally. First question we always ask people is, can they remember, what is your first memory? Like, take us right back to the start of Danielle Donoghue.
Oh my gosh, first memory in life.
In life,
Your earliest.
earliest memory.
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I've ever been asked that ever.
It's always
On the
something,
spot.
it's always something really, it's always either something really lovely or something really
yeah.
traumatic.
We had a guest a couple of episodes ago, Eyebrows. You'll all remember Catherine, her memory was being in a hospital bed
And she-
sick. Like, that's her first thing.
Ah, you know, funny when you said that, the first thing I went back to was when my granny was looking after us at my house one day, and she had fallen. Obviously, well, actually, it turned out my little brother had like knocked her down with his tractor, like whenever he was little. But I remember
Total
walking into the shed, and she was just like lying there, and I was in stitches. I was like, Granny, why are you like, get out? Why are you on the floor? Like, not obviously as a child, not like seeing the situation the way an adult would go in the
Yes.
situation. She's just like, Danielle, just could you ring? You know, back in the day, you just press 1 and it rang like your auntie.
Love
Says
that.
you're at 2 and you're
Missing
like,
old phone.
could you just ring 2? I can't even remember who it was we were ringing, and just say for them to come. And I was just like, okay. Like, go on then. And it wasn't until the ambulance and all came after I was like, oh my gosh, she's like broken her hip or something.
crazy.
But now that I wasn't that young then, but whenever you said that, that was kind of one of the first things came into my head.
Remember them old phones? Like, even maybe younger people listening to this won't even remember phones maybe connected to the wall or had a
Yeah.
cord and you couldn't go anywhere. You had to stay there the whole time.
It's like you with portable chargers, to be fair. Like.
Yeah, my phone is really, really bad. So I have to, it's only at like 50% now. And what is it, like 12 o'clock? So I'll have a portable charger on it in about 2 hours. I'll be walking around with it.
They don't even do them in kids' toys anymore, like those
That's
old
all
phones.
mobiles.
Like, it's all mobile phones. Like, they
Mad.
don't even have a notion how to go for it. But
And speaking of like grandparents, like remember like my granny used to have one of the numbers were massive. You know, like they weren't really
Yeah.
tiny, you know, maybe like a big massive square. So
because of their
you could see
eyesight,
them.
isn't it?
Yeah.
But it also amazes me now when we're saying that, like, you had like 6 at max most important people, and you didn't even always fill the 6 numbers. And now, like, you have like 362
Smart.
contacts. in
I
your phone.
couldn't even fill top 16 in Bebo. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't have a lot of
No,
friends.
yeah.
We've got to this point now where everyone's like your best friend. You don't want to offend anyone.
Yeah.
Whereas back in the day, it was very black and white. Like, these are our 6 people, and that was it. You know, that's sort of way.
But they say one way to check if you are older is you see if you fall and
Yeah.
people laugh, you're still young. But you see if you fall and people are like, are you okay?
That lady.
Yeah, there's a
That's
fine
what-
line there, you
It's
know.
when people refer to you as a lady, like, oh, you know, you're a really nice, or woman. We were talking about this yesterday. Like,
Like,
and
I'm
like,
just a girl.
like one of the girls that I work with, or like I was running with, was saying, like, one of the fellas in work said, you know, you're, you know, something about you being a nice woman or something, and she was really offended. And he was like, but you are a woman. And she's like, I know, but I'm a girl. I'm still a girl. And I was like, I kind of get that.
Yeah,
you know
I
what I
know.
mean? It's like you've hit that threshold now where it's acceptable to be called a
No,
woman.
if it's the same on forms, it's like what's your age bracket? You're like, no, I don't want to fill that in.
No.
You know, because we're in the next age
30 or
bracket,
39.
Yeah, or 30. Well, not the 35 just yet, but that'll be the next one.
Spring chicken.
I don't know about that, but no, Danielle did the Belfast half marathon yesterday, so
did.
congratulations on that.
Yeah, I'm glad there's no footage of me sitting down or getting up today because
There will
She's feeling
be.
good in it. Yeah.
no, it was actually good. It was enjoyable till a point, but yeah,
Would you do it again?
absolutely. Yeah, I think I would.
Do you think you would go for a full marathon?
No, actually, there was no part of me that finished yesterday and said I'd like to do all of that again.
I'd run back.
now.
And,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you know that
Do it
sort of
twice,
way?
like.
Yeah, and I think I kind of like a wee bit of speed. Not that yesterday was fast, but I think getting down to the speed that it takes to do a marathon, I just don't think. It's the training.
It's a lot of big
Giving up
commitment.
like 2 and 3 hours, you know, a
Or
couple
you
of times
could-
a week.
You could
to-
do a half marathon just off the cuff, really.
Yeah.
Which-
She maybe
Best
did
way-
that yesterday.
Best way to do it. Sometimes it was like when you leave the training too late, there's literally no point.
Yeah.
in
But you have
starting.
been gym training and everything, so
Yes.
it's not like you haven't been doing anything at
Yes.
all.
You've got
you
normal
haven't got-
fitness.
Yes.
You know, and you've got the high rock smiles in your legs too.
I wasn't panicked about the cardio. It was more the actual if my legs would keep going
Yeah.
for 13
I think
miles.
once you get maybe past 6, 7, 8 miles, it's mental as well. You know, it's just like
Oh, you
talking
run
to
out
your
of
legs.
things to talk about.
Well, we know. Me and the girls talked for 10 miles till actually somebody at the road was like, how are you still talking? And we were like, oh, we're clearly not running fast enough here. But
Well, we did Mission Saturday at our High Rocks.
oh, I know, I do love them.
Without you, you know.
Oh, I do love
And
them.
What
you
was
missed
that?
the last 2.
I wasn't even
quiet.
there. I wasn't even
Yeah.
there. It was
I do
quiet.
love them.
It was quiet.
I done the Omaha half, and I was running with one of the girls in the gym, and we were pacing ourselves lovely. Then we were coming up to this guy, and I was like, I kept picking up people. I was like, you see that guy in the high vis? We'll catch him. We'll catch
Yeah.
him. And the next person will catch him. We were about 4 people into it, and we come up to this man, and he was, I remember him telling me he was about 72, I think he was.
Oh, wow.
And just as he was telling me that, he just pulled out this massive vape and let it go. And I was like, this man smoked me up to
Yeah.
the last 2 miles of this half marathon.
Yeah.
That's when I realised marathon running wasn't for me.
No, it's actually amazing, like what people can do. And you look at people, and I think in other fitness, you can kind of prejudge. It's not a good thing, but you kind of can. Whereas in running,
You don't know who's going to be.
you don't know who's going to absolutely
that's a
swoop past you.
massive marathon runner, and like that man can.
Like all over the world, you know.
But like even now, like what age should that 65?
65, yeah.
And
But
he's still pacing on me.
and he used to tell stories like maybe, you know, they'd been in the pub the night before having a few beers and then going on the marathon the next day.
And the
Or
first
my
time I
dad-
ran one was just off the cuff.
Yeah, my dad's a milkman, so like old school milkman, going around delivering milk to people's doors.
Yeah.
And you know, he'd been maybe do that, start like 2 a.m. in the morning to maybe 9 or 10, and then go on a full marathon after that. Like it's mad, like
That
the
is-
things he's done. You know,
that
he's
is
went
crazy.
to Boston and everything.
Yeah, done
all
more,
around
done
the
more.
place.
So
So
where
one
the,
in me maybe after him, you know.
there is going to be one. we'll put that on camera. I'll just
Yeah.
put
On
it down
camera, so
there.
yeah, I've
Yeah,
got one marathon
that'll
in
do
me.
Where did this happen? Where were you living at the time?
When,
When the accident happened?
yes, so I grew up in a wee place called Braca, which is Lochshore, County Tyrone.
Tyrone.
Between, I know everyone makes fun of that, between Arbo and Kyle-Island, if anyone knows that part of the world. So
Some people don't. They're like, "Where do you live?" And where
Yeah.
You know, they're like, "Oh, how do you get there?" And I'm like, "It's like 10 minutes away."
no,
Smell like
honestly,
fun.
like I live in Banbridge now, and it like might as well be a foreign country. Like when you talk out home,
When you do say Bracha, I have no idea where that is.
Yeah, I
And
know.
I live
And to be
It's
fair,
like
like
Braca, you
it's
drink,
literally
you know, like-
really true, but like we're very proud of it. You know, it's
how many of you are proud of it? All
Well,
15 years?
To be fair, it's got very highly populated since I left.
There's
Like
20 now.
back in the day, it was, there wasn't, you know, nothing. It was just like a few houses and that. But now, yeah,
It's the place to be now. Danielle's gone. We can all move back in.
yeah, yeah. it's
Well,
all good.
and where did you go to school when you were
Braca Primary School.
Bracha? And how many of you was in your class?
She was like 28, 29.
That's
I guess.
loads. Because
In
when I
your
went
year
to primary
group?
school, there was like
No,
7 in my
class.
There was only maybe 7 in my
Yeah.
primary school class.
Yeah,
in
exactly. It
curriculum.
was actually quite everyone's surprise. For such a small place, it was like decent.
Yeah, it was.
Sort of primary school.
There must have been a blackout around the same.
But yeah, I went to school there for 7 years and then went to the academy in Dungannon.
Oh, you're an academy girl.
It was girls' academy for the first 5 years, and then they caused chaos by throwing the boys
Boys
in.
in.
Oh, I'm sure.
And you were
was
just
it
at that
boarding or
age
did
when
you-
it happened?
That's why I said chaos. Like,
Did you
can't.
board, Danielle, or you go home every day?
Well,
you stay
oh
over?
no, we home every day, like 45, 50-minute round trip on the bus. Crazy, like it felt like you were going to, like, even now I laugh because my wee girls when they're going to school, it takes us about 4 minutes to get to school, and they're like, oh. And like we were there for like 45, nearly an hour some days.
Try to get
on
your
the
homework
bus.
done on the
I
back
am-
of the bus.
I
Yeah,
know.
we'd do a revision and everything on it, but it was nearly like the social aspect. You love that hour in the morning to like chat with her and catch up and stuff. Like
Yeah,
what?
that's nice.
Yeah.
But it add 2 hours to your day. That would make
Exactly.
it mad day.
No, I loved it. I
And
loved
you,
school.
did you like it? How'd you get on? That's the
Loved
question.
Loved it.
Academically.
Academically, all right. Yeah, I always think decent. Yeah, I done my GCSEs, done my A levels.
Oh, did you do A levels? What did you do A levels in?
I did my A levels.
You sound so shocked. I mean,
I know. Do I not give
So
off
cheeky.
intelligent vibes here?
Sorry. Oh, hold on. I
Yeah.
didn't do A levels. Okay, I'm the. I
No,
tried them.
I was one of those people who just loved to learn, so it wasn't even as much like I and I see it in my oldest wee girl as well. Just loved learning new stuff, like such a geek that way. But yeah, I did my GCSEs and then did A levels in English, media studies, sports studies, and RE.
Very good.
we're very fancy.
Yeah,
And did you take all 4 straight through the A levels?
I did.
I'll
4
give you a
A's.
fist bump.
4
Brilliant.
A's.
Well
Yeah.
done.
Like the
Clever
word,
clothes.
yeah. Well, it was. You know what? I think when you pick something, because people are like, "They're such a random pick," and oh, you could have done something, you know, like more academic, you know. And I was just like, I know, but I always the whole way through life, it's always done
What you
what made
enjoy.
me happy.
Yeah, and
and
that's
to be
big
fair, like I credit my mum and dad a lot with that because even whenever we were that age, you would have friends who were like top of the class and all, or we all did quite well, and they'd be saying, "No, you'd make a really good, you know." teacher, pilot, lawyer, you know, all like the big things. So you should really do these subjects so you can go that way, which is fair enough if that was what you're interested in. But Mummy was always like, well, what do you like? And what do you, because I'd be like, Jesus,
what's nice
what am I
about
going to
it,
pick?
you know?
What am I going to pick
Aye.
for my A levels? And she was like, well, what do you enjoy? Do you know that sort of
That's
way?
a really good question to ask you, though.
Yeah.
You know,
And that's why I
some
picked,
parents are
like,
really like, you're just doing these and that's it.
well, there was
You know?
certain obviously subjects for getting into university that you had to do
Yeah.
ground
Yeah.
subjects.
Yeah.
Whereas Mum was like, stop worrying about the next step, do what you like now, and that'll find a way.
That's
And,
lovely.
and I think that's kind of worked for me because what I did pick didn't really push me to anything I wanted to do because it was very like Englishy. Talking, and I thought, oh God, I'm going to end up being a teacher, and I didn't really want to be a teacher. I was either going to be a journalist or a teacher or an author. I loved all that sort of writing, and
Oh, that's
and then I
cool.
worked. Now social media happened,
Yeah.
and like I spend my days like writing and making up my stories and creating content
Yeah.
and things like that. So it was a job that never existed, which is sort of what we chatted about before. And I didn't know was going to exist, but I just followed subjects in school that I like to do, and then ended up here.
But it just shows, you know, you don't know what's going to happen in the future. So as you say, doing what makes you happy, that benefited you in the long run, you know.
Absolutely. And I think like school has come on so far. Like there was our careers, I don't know what careers was like in your school, but and this isn't even a slight on this
I
school.
ended up in the army. You can imagine what it was like.
Do you know what I mean? It was like you're either fit for these real, you know, proper careers, which is, you know, your teacher, your doctor, your lawyer, or you should maybe do something else.
Maybe we
Yeah.
trade. You know,
Yeah,
on the tech.
it was kind of just that. There was no like, right, well, you're super intelligent, but you don't really enjoy academics. You know, if you did this would be a really good pathway to do that. And so it was either at that point, it was nearly decided whether you were going to be successful in later life and have a good job, or you weren't going to be successful,
Yeah.
but you'd be dead on. You know, you'd make
You'd
enough
get through,
to
you
get a
know.
living. You know, and that's, it's horrible. Like looking
Yeah, it
back
is.
that was there. And even people that were super smart and did really well, it felt because they were smart, had to do certain subjects, are the people I think now are struggling more because they were nearly pushed in the places
They're
they didn't want to
resenting it or
go.
not where they wanna be.
Whereas the people that people didn't have high hopes for in the same way were like, well, screw you, I'm going to give this a go. And they didn't have that same pressure in a sense to like follow this path. So they found their path and
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
have ended up doing a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could have,
Do you know what I mean?
So
if your
true.
parents had maybe forced you to do certain subjects, you could be miserable for those 2 years, you know.
You can have a great job and be a lawyer and all and absolutely hate getting up for work every single
Yeah.
day. And you're just like,
Life's too short for that.
life is too short for that. But I do think we've come away from that now. But yeah,
You think so?
a wee bit, yeah.
Because I have this one like role that I play now where I go into like local schools and invite me in to try to talk the kids out of going to sixth form because their parents are trying to push them to do sixth form. Obviously,
Right,
they've
okay.
only so many places, and they know there's kids in there that in their head. Like I literally had a young fella in tears at a grammar school. Where I was talking to him about, you know, you need to find your own path, make your own decisions, and this
Yeah.
is the time for you to make decisions. Because like I made decisions that obviously put a path in front of me. And I was sharing those with him, and this guy was crying, and he's like, "But my mum and dad they want me to do this. They told me I have to do this."
It's tough. Like,
And like that guy does not. He wants to go to the tech and do sports, and he wants to get into personal training and stuff. And I was like, I know just the place for you.
Yeah.
But again, he's now in the lower sixth because he had to follow that path his parents have set for him.
hard.
And there is that. And that's,
They're talking lawyer,
Yeah.
solicitor, all that sort of stuff, and
It-
that's not what he wants.
it's really sad. And I think, especially when we live in such an era of people starting to understand better mental health and things, I think that all stems from that, or like trying to please and like it doesn't come from a bad place. Like that's parents
their
that know
parents,
he's
yes.
super intelligent and he could do all those things if he wanted
Wanted,
to.
yeah.
And that's the bit that people miss out. It's like you can be capable of something, but it doesn't mean it's your
yeah, you
path.
might not want to, you might
And
make it happen.
likewise, things like now, like PT and owning gyms and all like that is up there with things people really want to do and aspire to. But back in the day, like going to the tech to do sports was
Oh,
like,
you don't tell
I done an
anybody, you know.
A-level sports studies and people were like, what did you do? Like jump over a rope? Like,
Yeah.
do you know when we were doing
No.
physiology, the whole
Yeah.
thing of
Yeah.
it, people just dismissed it even at that point in time. So like,
Who's laughing now?
no, but you know what I mean? Whereas now you kind of have path that way that people are like, well, actually, you know, I could do this and I could own a gym or I could do that. But like, it's just, it's mad what the emphasis we place on titles
Yeah.
and
Achievements,
achievements.
grades.
I do think it's a very Northern
I've
Irish,
never-
Ireland thing too. I think like we're a wee bit behind
Mm-hmm.
in, and it might be because the opportunities aren't the same.
I've never been asked for my GCSEs. Never had a real
No.
job, but you know what I mean. I've never.
What was your GCSEs, Keith?
An AB? Was it AB 5 Cs and a D? I got a D in RE, so I thought this would be funny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's not what
Is
I
that
thought.
even possible? I thought everyone done RE just
No,
to get an
listen.
easy
Look,
mark.
they asked
it was really
no,
hard.
wait to hear. They asked me, do you want to do the higher paper or the lower paper? And I was like, what's the difference? Is if you do the lower paper, you'll definitely get a C.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'll do higher. I got D.
I enjoyed RE too, but I did short course. Like I
Yeah.
didn't.
I enjoyed
long course
RE
wouldn't be for
because
me.
it just didn't change. Like you didn't have to overly think about it. There was a story that was written ridiculous amount of time ago. You memorized it, repeated it, and
You've
they went
watched many movies to do it.
100% right. Do you
You've
know
been
what
to
I
a few
mean?
musicals.
You didn't have to interpret anything. You didn't have to work any problems out. You just had to memorize a passage.
There was my D. So there you go.
I was a classroom assistant a few years ago, and then obviously went
A
back.
few years ago.
Yeah, a few years ago. But then, and I nearly learnt everything again because I found like probably was messing about when I was younger. But now as older, I think you want to learn. And I was sitting there
Absolutely.
like going, "Oh my goodness, this happened! I can't believe this story." And I was like, "Wow, this is so good."
I know, like you sometimes think learning. I know it sounds like counter, like productive, but like learning's really wasted on young people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like I
don't
even
wanna learn,
No,
you know.
and university, particularly school, I kind of get, but I honestly, I've said this from I went to university. I feel like you shouldn't be allowed to go to university till you're 21 minimum.
Yeah.
I
because
get all that craziness out of the way.
you kind of went to school. You're like a child. Now I look back at me. I look at 18-year-olds now, and I was like, I thought I have this word sus. I knew more than my mum
we
and
did
dad.
that.
I knew more than anyone. Went sort of messed about a bit. Didn't really care about learning. Just couldn't wait to get home to my friends to go out. And now
Get your student loan in and go
I
shopping.
would give anything
Love
to do
student
my
loan days.
degree again. Like
Ah.
anything to do it again. And actually, because I did an English and film degree, and I really, again, stuff I really enjoyed, and I don't remember any of it. I don't
You were
even.
so like you didn't even know that this was your path,
Not-
but
I
I guess
would-
so all
I
the
You
know.
just must have deep down you just.
I
knew
just
this is what
thought
I
of stuff
needed.
I
That's
liked doing.
mad.
I'm always, people are like, what are you going to do with an English and film degree? Like, be a director? And I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but I enjoy
job.
it.
Yeah.
But I'd
You're
love to
great.
do it again and learn stuff
Yeah.
from it. You know what I mean? I feel it
To
was
remember,
so wasted
yes.
on people that were just couldn't wait to leave the class. You know, that sort of
Yeah.
way. You need at least a year break between school and university or school, and I think there should be a compulsory gap year where you either, I don't know, work, just get a random job in retail for a year, do some sort of online course, PT course, whatever it is, go traveling around the world, or sit at home and watch daytime TV, whatever it is you decide to do.
The way it's going now, the Labour Party's going to put everybody in for a year's subscription anyway, so that'll be alright. Well, that'd be good fun.
Yeah, that could
But that'll be their gap year.
that,
That'll make here. Yo, work hard if you think that's your
well, I was
future.
gonna say, well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's exactly it.
What university did you go to, Danielle?
So I did my English and film degree in Queen's, and then I went to Georgetown, done my master's in communications, advertising, and PR.
Brilliant. Busy
I
girl.
know, I know. Just
Was
couldn't
it-
wait. Didn't want to hit the real world.
Your
Like, give me
master's sounds
something.
fun though, advertising
It was
and
good.
PR and all, yes.
It was good because then I ended up going into sort of marketing. I didn't know whether I wanted to do more PR marketing, and even then, it was kind of more communications PR. Marketing was kind of just coming on board,
Mm-hmm.
and the marketing that was there in the undergrad degrees and stuff was very much, you know, billboards.
Yes.
It's all
how-
very much changed.
how to buy media space
Like
and
probably like
things
Yellow
like that.
Pages, that sort of thing, yes.
Absolutely, like you know, how did
But you know yourself,
develop
it's
your-
always changing.
Absolutely. And I even say now when people say to me like, oh, you do marketing. People love saying it, you do marketing. And I'm like, well, I'm focused more on sort of social media or online. You know, there's so many
Yeah.
elements to marketing. There is absolutely nobody, they're lying to you if somebody tells you that they know everything about marketing, because there's such a big difference between, you know, still doing copy, like writing copy, creating content, social media, online, e-commerce, like
I am-
buying space. Like they're
just a-
completely different skill sets.
It is. It is. Like I've been trying to get into email marketing, but it is the most brutal.
There's
thing.
people that are just email marketing
That's all they
consultants.
do.
That is all they do, because that's how much detail it takes to be
Yes,
good at
you
that.
need to be more specific in the one way area.
Of course, I could set you up with an email marketing campaign. Would it be as good as, you know, such and such and such and such? No. And I'll admit to that firsthand. You gotta play to your strengths. And I think in consultancy in particular, if you don't play to your strengths, it looks like you're not good enough. Whereas if you say, look,
If you're too broad,
this-
you need to be more specific.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's really become like that because marketing is literally
Oh, it's
life
a demon
for business
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah.
But social media is massive. Like,
It is.
It is. It's huge.
Yeah.
I don't know how businesses survived years ago on like just the Yellow Pages
Word of
or like,
mouth.
you know,
I know.
the newspaper, word of mouth.
But it's when the difference was as well. That's why, like, you needed really needed money to survive, because marketing and advertising was super expensive, and it was like only for the big businesses.
Yeah.
It was
And they
only
were
for the
gonna get the
people who could
business in.
afford it. And
Yeah.
then that's the way it went back. So if you were a little business, you just didn't advertise or market. You just hopefully put a decent product
Yeah.
or business out there and hope that people would tell other people to come. Whereas now it puts people on a more even platform.
Yeah.
You know, budget isn't just as important. Yes, you can do cooler gimmicks, tricks, giveaways, whatever. But in general, you can kind of go with a very base level and look as big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As
And
massive
sometimes now
competitors.
it's more about the people like promoting the business rather than maybe what they're trying to sell. Like people might just link to you and like you than me over the other
Absolutely.
person, you know.
Yeah, there's a whole personality side that never was part of it because people buy lifestyle now rather than buy product because we said it before, like so many businesses do the exact same thing. Like even if we're taking here, taking like sports businesses or whatever, like there's
10
15
there's 10
gyms in an
gyms
area.
within 5 mile of you.
Exactly. So it's not about like it being a unique proposition because in marketing you learned it has to be a USP. You have to have a USP. But like you don't really know. That's kind of fallen away a wee bit. Yes, you can have a USP within a business that's similar, but now they're not. You're not talking about
No, not like
massive
that,
differences.
no.
But it's all now about people liking the business, liking the people that run it, liking what you're offering, liking the lifestyle that you're proposing they could get from using your product or going to your business or service. Like, so it's really an interesting like juxtaposition.
It is very interesting, and it's always going to be developing. You'll always be continuing learning. too, you know?
Yeah, even in it. And I think it's kind of scary though, because you do get to an age, and I find myself now, because like obviously new stuff's coming out and TikTok and all, I'm like, oh,
Are you on TikTok?
I
do I
have to
have to
avoid
learn?
TikTok
I'm
and go
on
on
it, but I'm not
Ah,
on
it's
it.
hard.
And I'm
It's
just
hard.
like, I can feel I'm hitting that age or that point in life. I don't know whether my brain is just at full capacity. I'm like, I don't want to learn anything else.
But then
I don't want to learn myself.
the benefit of that though is like probably the niche people that you're looking for are not going to be the ones that are on TikTok anyway.
Yeah.
Like there's the people who follow you now are probably all the age gap you're going for. Unless
Yes.
you're going to start selling vapes to 16-year-olds.
Yeah, yeah. The argument is for growth and brand awareness, and like if you don't want to go stale, you move with it. But you do get to a point like
Oh,
where you're
I'm
just
on my,
like,
I cannot do TikTok.
and people are like, oh, did you see that new app or have you tried this? And I'm just like,
But that's everybody doing the exact same thing. Is like they're all just copying. Like Instagram, Facebook's just they have it locked up.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
yeah, they do, they really do. Like just for completely different segments, but it's
Just for
really
time, you
interesting.
can't, add any more time into your day.
But it's part of me like that too. It's like I don't have any.
Well, you can
more
get an
time
app
to
that'll
give-
share to the moment.
yeah.
Yeah, like it's mental. Like I'm, the way it goes. But yeah,
There you go. I honestly didn't know you had a master's and all that.
Yeah.
I'd have been nicer to you.
I don't know how much good it's done me now, but
I think it's done you all right.
yeah, it's kind of nice just to have it. But like I say, I feel like I'd love to go back and do it all again. It feels like a lifetime ago, like in a distant memory.
Well,
Like-
they say education is easy carried, so you never know.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I kind of stuck with me through in different jobs and different things. Like I don't think I'm a risk taker, but then when you kind of look back, I'm like, I've always just kind of followed paths that I've wanted to do, because I'm not a risk taker, but I get real FOMO of regretting. I think that's it. Like, it's not like I don't see myself taking risks, but I'm like really like stresses me out if I think I'm going to miss out on something or if I don't give something a go. So it kind of
So would you say yes a lot? Would you?
Yeah,
I-
100%.
I went through a real bad phase because I thought I was going to like leave something on the table.
Yes.
But I tell you, since saying no, life just gets.
Yes, you have to learn to
Easy.
balance it.
Yeah.
100%. Like, it's like knowing when the yes is good for you and whether it's just good for someone else.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know?
9 times out of 10, if somebody's asking you to do something,
Exactly. Like, so it's
they're not coming with you to make
no.
your life better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone is a wee bit out for themselves, which is okay.
Yeah.
That's okay. It's just as
a
long as
fighter
you're
in
right
you.
for yourself too,
Yeah.
then it all works out.
It's true.
And don't let them take over,
Yeah.
And then after you finished your master, you went straight into like your communications, like PR sort of.
Then went in. I was randomly got a job marketing English UK universities to college and like upper sixth students in Northern Ireland and Ireland. So I go around like schools and like IT colleges and stuff and give wee presentations on like Liverpool and
Oh, yeah,
Birmingham
come
and-
join us or pick you.
yeah,
Oh.
like working for them, so doing presentations for them or like representing them at like I'm going to say trade shows.
I was
That's not
gonna
the
say
name
trade
for it,
shows.
but like
That's
educational shows.
that's unbelievable for like your own confidence getting them talking. in
It
front of
was
people.
because you get just thrown into it. I was like, oh my gosh, I have to like talk to these, because I felt like I was just out of university and I was like, oh, this is a great university, which I didn't go to.
But you should go.
Yeah, but you should go. So it was really nice just kind of to see those different sort of sides of things and see shows, see presentations, go in and out. But that's what I started, and then I moved into email marketing. I actually got a job with he was my brother-in-law, who I will always be thankful took a punt on me, because I was just straight out of uni, just that wee bit of experience behind me. He's like, no, I think you can do this. God bless him, he's not with us anymore. But he took a punt on me and we went in and I worked in email marketing for maybe 3-4 years, built myself up to be like managing a wee team in there in marketing. And then they got bought bought over that company by a Fortune 500 Silicon Valley company in
really?
San
That's
Fran,
cool.
which was amazing.
Wow.
Like, so they all came over, took over, bought over. It was a really lovely company, and then they sort of like obviously re-interviewed, and I got on with them. So I was their sort of marketing manager then for a while, which was really cool. A lot of experience because the
Yeah.
budgets went like this, and
I imagine having to
they were-
re-interview
Gosh, I
for your
know.
job. Like,
yeah, well, it was soft enough. Like I think they liked us, and they didn't weren't unless you were really
Yeah, but-
shouldn't
yeah.
be there. I think they
Shouldn't
were
be
just
safe
trying to
enough,
make
no.
sure that
Shouldn't have
everything
had.
was right. But that was really interesting because then that went from just like being quite like a small business, like just kind of
Surviving.
ourselves
Yeah.
to like
Like the world was your oyster sort of
completely
thing, yeah.
budget, but it was really interesting. That's when I really stopped enjoying the job. The company were amazing, the people I worked with were amazing, but I actually realized I loved marketing with no real budget because it forced me to be creative, and that's probably
Yes.
the root of marketing that I enjoy the most. Like creating content out of nothing. Like how can you like getting sales, brand awareness with I just being able to throw money at it. You know,
Yeah.
that's what, and I really enjoyed it. And then all of a sudden we had this massive budget, and I became just someone that was just basically like project managing a marketing budget rather than being a marketer. I just
I
was
love
like,
it. Your
there's
creative
money.
side went away, you know.
Absolutely, because they didn't need it. We could just give all this money to that company that did that for us, and that company made this website and this. Whereas
Yeah.
I was like going before that, I was writing the copy for the website and doing all those
Yeah,
bits
I
and
understand,
pieces.
yeah.
So then I left that and decided
Was that a hard thing to leave?
it was because the money
Security,
was good.
yeah.
And with the company came all like your health benefits, all that, because the American companies bring that all with it. You know, you had all these massive
So
benefits.
you just went in. Did you have anything lined up, or did you just be like, I'm just
No, we
leaving?
just decided it wasn't
wow.
That's a
happening.
big change.
I just said to Peter, my now husband, I was just like, I hate, like, I
Were you
don't wanna-
married at the time or still
No.
like no?
No, we were just like, we were living together. But I
But
just
it's still
was-
like I'm going to leave my job, but we have to still have to pay rent and a mortgage and
Uh-huh.
stuff like that's a
Yeah.
big
I just was
commitment.
getting up and getting more and more upset going into work. Like, and I was like, this
It's
isn't
not worth
right.
it.
And he was like, well, do what you need to do. And I just give it up. And then I was like, okay, what am I
bless
going to do now?
He
And,
was terrified in the background, but he was not letting on. You know.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, what am I going to do now? And then I decided, no, I don't like marketing anymore. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something completely different. So I went online and decided that said I'm going to give a business a go, and I really like fashion, and I felt maybe because I worked in a very technology based, maybe if I had worked in a marketing company in hindsight and was working on different accounts within different industries, I might have been more in, could have went from, whereas it was very techy.
Okay.
Your marketing and email security product, which wasn't the most
Yeah.
exciting thing.
Wasn't like a new fashion or
Exactly.
makeup or whatever.
So I said, I'm gonna own a fashion boutique. So I set up a fashion boutique.
No way.
Yeah, in Lisburn. I was like, this is me now.
What year was this?
This was like 2014 or something like that.
So,
2015.
quick man, that's like 10 years ago. Well, yeah, 10 years ago,
And I
yeah.
was like, this is me. I was like, Pete, this is me now. This is what I'm destined to be. I'm going to be a business person, right? And did it, kind of enjoyed it, like started to do well. And I was
Did
like,
you have a shop or all online?
had a
like
shop.
in real person shop?
in Lisburn, yeah. And
What was it
actually
called?
lovely, the Style Retreat.
The style retreat.
And I enjoyed it. I was doing all right. But I don't know what I had in my head being a business owner would be like, but it wasn't that.
Correct.
No, it's so hard.
It's like nobody prepares you for, especially when you're on your own, like you're wearing all these hats. And I love the merchandising side, I love the buying side, I love the customer facing side, loads of bits, but there's loads of other hats and things you have to do.
VAT and tax.
Yes,
And
and just everything, and you also deal with the complete, everything
Yeah,
came
yeah.
with it, and I was like,
returns and
you're like, is this worth it? I was like, why? Like, oh my gosh. I was like, the grind to me wasn't worth
not outweighing the other,
yes.
yeah.
So it was doing all right, but I was like, I can't be doing this for the next 10 years. I'm going to absolutely lose my mind. So I was like, okay, no, I don't want to do this anymore. So I was like, stop that, like, close that down. What on? Like,
Let's pause by saying, how did you even like find like suppliers for the clothes?
Yeah.
Reach out to
I
them
just-
and,
yeah,
like,
I
to
just
sell your
reached-
brand or
yeah, I just reached out, and then I went down to like Fashion City in Dublin and went across a massive trade show in London. Twice they have all the different
Yes.
suppliers there. Went to it and met a few people and ordered
cool.
off them. Yeah, it was cool. I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
we would be friendly with a girl who owns a boutique local here, but like I was personal trainer for a long time, and like see the horror stories.
Oh.
But she's just so conditioned because she's done it for 10 years.
Yes.
But like, there's some of the things I was like, that would break me. I'd turn and run.
It is for like people.
People are always out to
People
get you.
very thick skin fast, you know.
People are always out to get you. People are always trying to find
And you are very
price,
public as well.
like all this sort of crack. It's like they always think you're trying to do them.
Aye.
like
When realistically, your business. Do you know what I mean?
exactly, and people
Like,
don't
they have to
question
make a
it.
living, you know.
But you can go and buy coffee, right? And like I know that bag of coffee beans has cost a tenner, and you're charging me $4.50 for one coffee and a syrup, and I don't go. You're ripping me off. I'm like, thank you very much.
You know.
Here's the money.
be back
We owned a
tomorrow
coffee
for
shop
another
for a
one.
while. It's like that.
People don't say like they know they're being,
Aye.
but you're like, but that's the whole point. You know, you price up. You have to, there's
There's
profit
rent,
margin
there's
on it.
rates, there's wages,
Like, you have a
there's...
mortgage to pay.
Yeah.
You have whatever.
But there's something about product, even though you're getting it home, the people are like, nah, I could get that cheaper. Oh, what are you making of that?
But I
Give me a
don't-
wee bit of discount. Whereas nobody would go into a coffee shop and say, give me 30p off that.
But like, I don't even know how, like, I sound so bad, but I don't know how many like street vendors are still open with the likes of online shopping,
Yeah.
because it is bizarre, the
It
price.
is. It becomes
not
just.
fair.
It becomes just. It's a real loyalty thing. I think, like some
Yeah.
businesses, you just get that sort of.
But online
customer.
suppliers should charge the same across the board and have an RRP, I
Yes.
think. I do think.
Yeah.
Because a lot of local businesses are going to close.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's gonna be
Yeah,
only
and
fair.
sometimes you don't even know because you're not in retail. It's really interesting. Like they don't like some brands will give you a guideline, but you're not told what to mark up.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Right, okay.
something you have to come to with your environment, your shop, your overheads.
Yeah,
So
your clientele.
It's
sort
not
of,
like
yes.
you could be dearer than someone else because the situation like you have to be. Maybe you can't buy as bulk. Maybe somebody else is buying bulk and they're getting a cheaper
Yeah.
price. That you
They
can't
might put
do
it
the
up as
same
or,
price.
or you're running a more central shop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So there's reasons for it. So whereas people just think that you've decided to be
Greedy.
more expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I did that for a while and decided that wasn't
So
for
how
me.
long did you do that for?
About a year and a half.
That's still a good, you would
It's long
know.
enough to know. It was long
It was
enough to
either
get
for
a
you or it
go,
wasn't.
but I was like, at this point, I need to either go all in and make this really successful and just
sell your
accept
soul.
this what
Yeah.
it is, yes, or get out when I have, when I still sort of can. I haven't made too many commitments to anything, so I decided to get out and done it online for a while to get rid of the stock and
Yes,
stuff
of course.
afterwards.
Did you sell it at a reduced price?
Some of it, yeah, just depended where we got
Just
with
to
it.
make your costs back, you know.
Absolutely, like, and it was there sort of thing. So I did that, and then I said, well, I still kind of enjoyed the fashion side of things. And some of like my customers that were sort of regulars, like, I'm not going to miss coming in and you just dressing me because you know, like at
Yeah,
the boutique
that's
level.
so lovely though.
Yeah. So then I decided I'd go online and do an online stylist, like a styling, like personal shopper
Okay,
course.
yeah.
So I did that online, and I was like, right, I'm gonna be a personal shopper. Right. So a job came up in Debenhams, and then I became like their personal
That's so
shopper
cool.
for like a year and a half as well. Worked out. It was good fun. It was like.
So you could go and be like, I've got a wedding, and then you'd bring them all the clothes.
Yeah, so
and,
people
like,
booked appointments
feel
and
yeah,
then
feel
came
fancy
in.
for
Do
who
they
you
have to
are,
pay
what do you
extra
know?
for that, or do they just buy the
No,
clothes?
because they obviously, the shop are saying it as there's more chance that they're going to buy when someone's giving them
Yeah.
stuff that might actually suit their body type or
Yes.
suit them, rather than somebody going in and be like, oh, I don't like any of this. So you would have an appointment and style them. So I did that for a wee while. And I decided that wasn't just quite right either. And I decided.
Hold on, we're at 2017 now. We're at 2017, 2018.
And I decided, you know what, actually marketing probably was the right. By this stage, marketing had really come on a wee bit and social media was becoming,
Yeah.
like you have to remember when I was at university, Facebook came out when I was in second year at university, only came out, and that was when we were like, what you at? You at uni? So that was what our statuses were.
Poking people.
Yeah, this is what our statuses were. You coming home soon? Like to people that you live beside, that's the way. So like we
We
weren't
posted
used-
that on their page.
Yeah, oh, that's what you
Could
used to post
imagine
your
that now?
page to each other. It wasn't used as like
Wasn't
a
maybe WhatsApp or nothing back then. I don't
no,
even remember.
we used it like nearly like MSN. So it took a wee while for it to become this sort of option or for marketing for business. People got smarter at using it. So that had kind of come round. I was like, I could kind of do that. And then people had been kind of coming for me because obviously I had marketing background, friends and family like, would you give me a hand? I'm starting this wee business. Will you look at that logo, or how do I do a website, or what could I put on this Facebook page or whatever? So it's helping them out. And then just naturally, like friends of theirs or people who seen their business page was like, who helped you with that or
Yes.
whatever. So I ended up sort of building a wee
And that's lovely because obviously they thought your work was good. So that's,
Exactly.
you got a really good buzz of that. You know?
and it was nearly nicer not to have to sell yourself for, because I was like, it wasn't really supposed to be a business, and then it just kind
So
of
you just,
Yeah.
you've just fallen into this.
yes, so kind of fell into it. And then at the same time, obviously social media was doing well, so I did my own wee page. Now I was a blogger back in the day, like the proper,
See, my first
2
memories of
pages.
you on like social media was like, remember at Christmas you go and do like the big toys, what's around the shops and everything.
Yes.
That's what I remember from a few years ago.
Yeah, and I was doing it even before that. I was doing it when a blog was a blog, like it was literally a
yes, the big
website.
yes, the
and
big
you
posts and
wrote
everything.
like,
Alex had one.
Yeah, I did start a blog for a while. It was
I
called,
loved it in writing.
it was called Assisted by Sid. We puppy called Sid, and I had got a logo of me made and him and everything, and I had a website, and I like I loved it for you.
Because there was a website and she was obviously doing text and pictures and like went and got proper pictures and all that sort of stuff done. I was like, that's a lot of work. I thought people just posted on Instagram
Yeah.
and that was it.
And kind of so we grind in me to this day that
has
you know
changed
when
to
we
that.
started out, like it took me 3 nights of work to create a proper blog post. Like you had to go out, go to the event or go to whatever it was you're doing research, get the information, then sit up and write. Like you're writing 800
loads,
words. Like,
yeah.
you're writing a proper essay, inserting the pictures and like WordPress back in the day. Like you put a picture there and then the text moved there and then this went here. And you're like, oh my gosh, like it was a proper like assignment. And then you put it up and people are like, great, like do you know what I mean? And now like people take a nice photo and put up, you know, slay, and you're like,
Yeah, like 1,000 likes. And like, what?
the followers, and I'm like, oh, there's a part of me like it's like, oh, I wish that the words were more important.
Yes.
But
Oh, that's true though, because like you see social media, the thing that grinds me and
Sell everything.
like we could put up the most educational video.
oh yeah, nobody
Right,
cares.
going into like all the reasons you would do a tricep extension and
Yeah.
stuff. But then there's a girl took a video from behind wearing shorts up her hole and doing a tricep extension and they're getting
Yeah,
all the traction
absolutely. It's all aesthetic.
because social media is full of creepy men.
Yes, that is true. That is very true.
There-
And it's
That's
just
a good way to bring in that story you were talking about before the podcast.
What was it?
With all that baby oil.
Oh, Peter. But before that, there's a girl who is a photographer, and she just checked out social media, the reels, whenever reels started becoming a big thing, and she would have done a talking video talking about photography, but she would have had a top on like this, a jumper. Mm-hmm. I mean, she's done 3 videos like that, and she's done 3 where she was wearing a sports bra. Which one's got
Absolutely.
10 times more views?
absolutely.
Same
So
same
annoying.
content, same spin, just
And it's
different
really sad because like part of
'Cause
me
men
is
can't wear
like
crop tops.
you don't have to do this, but then at the same time, like people like the likes aren't important, and they're not till an extent, depending on what the reason is for you're there. So if you're there to make money on social media, like your likes are important because you need your engagement
Yeah,
to be
to
high.
show to the
You need
company
more
that,
people
yeah.
to see it for you to get work on it. So like I understand why some people are trying to
I'm
make it a
everywhere,
bit
yeah.
more like aesthetically pleasing. I can get it. It's not fair that they have to, but it's kind of nearly it's the nature of the beast, which
Yeah.
is horrible. But
Yeah.
it has kind of become that, and then it also irks me a wee bit because people go on about really wanting to see like real bodies and real people and girls without makeup and you know just girl next door. Now you tell me which girl next door does, like if you're sitting here with a face full of makeup or like some really pretty girl doing makeup versus me, like it's gonna be they're still gonna watch and like the other video more than the video that you claim you want to see.
Yeah, I know.
that's just people saying things that people want to hear. isn't it?
But I think we believe it. But then when we're actually, our eyes are watching it,
Yeah.
we click in the one we're like, oh, I'd like to look like her. I'd like to wear that outfit.
Yeah.
So you naturally just when you're scrolling, we kind of go, into it. So it's like all well and good what we should do, and it's what we actually end up
Yeah.
watching.
But there's one guy that's broke the mold, and I've only started watching him maybe this last 6 months, and he's won social media. Sean Casey.
Oh yeah,
Everyone
he's
follows him.
amazing. Yeah,
But he's monotone,
and he's from Banbridge.
Banbridge man. So he just talks monotone one level. He curses, he just talks,
Yeah.
and he just creates things, and he
Yeah.
just slabbers, and I'm like, and it's so entertaining. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I can't stop watching.
He's legendary. I love his stuff. It's
He's
really just. It looks like he's just having a chat with you, and that is such like that is.
But he
unbelievable.
has made his fortunes plural
Mm.
from social media. Like he has the social circles. He teaches people how to create what he's created, and he's
Yeah.
made a 7-figure company out of it.
Yeah.
The guy's what 20? Would he be 30?
Not sure. No.
28 millionaire.
The thing is, I think that's
What
a
is
really.
his mum and his sister a car?
But I think he's a
What a
really
guy.
good example of just doing what
You want?
Yeah,
like
that's
or what
yeah.
what
he
you
tells
know
the
and what you
story.
understand.
He went to university, drunk, drugs, everything, and threw his life up the wall. Went and worked at McDonald's. And I said, I don't want this. And
Yeah.
he just took over social.
Yeah.
Lockdown helped too.
Yeah.
Lockdown helped a lot of social media.
Yeah,
people.
Yeah.
it did. That's when TikTok grew,
Yeah.
and like I was pregnant at the time, so I had no interest. Remember, everyone was just doing these dance.
They just row dances now.
It was just all these dances over lockdown. People were just doing like partner dances and dances in their own. And like I know loads of girls who just absolutely blew up over lockdown with TikTok. I was just sitting there like heavily pregnant, hating life. I was like, I'm not doing this shit. So I felt like I missed the TikTok boat because of sort of lockdown, but it did help a lot of businesses.
I was still in the army at the time, so we were told we weren't allowed TikTok because it was Chinese and Chinese gave us COVID, and they were all against it. And I was like, I don't think you got COVID from your phone. Lads. So you weren't allowed to download it. We weren't allowed, didn't we?
We were actually talking about this last night. That's really randomly that we were talking about this the same. And like my friend Sarah just said to me, like, can you believe we just like didn't go to see people. Like we just sat there and didn't see. Like I remember, like
Like stood across the road, like, well, you know, can't come any closer.
I was pregnant. My little girl Elsie was about 19 months or something, and like she didn't even see her granny and granddad at her time. Like it's
So
like
sad.
Like I remember my daddy like coming up one day when he wasn't really supposed to, but like he wasn't like nice. He was just like outside the window waving. He drove like 50 minutes to wave at her
It's
outside the
heartbreaking
window. And we were like, go quickly
Before
before
you get caught.
someone
get
says
in
something.
trouble,
to you.
they
And my
report you or
mummy wouldn't
something.
even come up in the car with him in case like the police stopped them on the way up the road. And I was just like,
I worked through
What were you
lockdown
thinking?
and we had letters to allow us to go to work in case the police did stop us because
Yeah.
we had to get to work. And we started 7:30 and like not a sinner was about, you know, obviously no one was allowed. And it was so eerily
I became an
like The
essential
Walking
driver.
Dead, like it was mad.
it's so scary. But
So
you didn't
scary.
even want to be out. Like I remember we moved into our house.
When you'd wash the groceries when you'd come home because
My mummy was melting in her fruit. Like putting her fruit into a sink of Milton.
Oh my goodness.
Isn't that crazy?
I know.
But like I wasn't even like appalled by her at that point. You know, I was just like,
that's a
well,
great idea,
okay.
don't do that.
And like you're just making anyone like I didn't even go to the shop because like I said I was pregnant and I was obviously going to be like that worst case scenario. They had the
Yes.
scare tactic on you for that. And Pete used to come through the door with the groceries and I'd be like having him strip at the door, like leave the bags, like then move it. Like it was just
You got COVID when you were pregnant, didn't you?
Yeah,
crazy.
And our what do you call it? Midwife was raging.
because they never even really took any like heat of it. You know, we're not in any special treatment. But then when
She
I
was
got to the
cross.
hospital, she was really cross that I didn't have any
mad, like.
special checks or anything. It was crazy.
It was just, but like it was crazy. Like we look back and Marla, we had her christened. We're kind of half out of it. We're out of it obviously because people could have it, but it was like small gatherings or whatever.
We
There
had a
was-
wee private one too,
Oh,
yeah.
there was such, but we were laughing because like her christening picture, her two godparents are at the side, and she's like I'm in the middle, and they're like this, two hands down in the masks.
But it took so long.
She's gonna be like,
Imagine
"Oh."
having to explain that. Oh, I
They did really love
we
each
were,
other and they just didn't want to like touch anybody or
Yeah,
be near
but
anybody.
they were like, listen,
we were
really,
really
like-
scared of the flu back then.
Yeah, trying not to like. It's got to be in the history books, isn't it? For so
100%.
long.
They're going to be
ago.
learning it, yeah.
Like they're gonna be in stitches with us. Like I can't believe that they listen.
Yeah,
to
man.
that.
What about you? You 2 meters, you?
Yeah, but like I was genuine. I was one of those people. I was like see people that were just like going about and all. I was like, oh my god, like what? Like I was properly like I fully bought into it.
I was
But so we all did.
I was sent to Brighton for like 8 weeks to COVID test people in car parks, and I was shitting myself the whole time.
Isn't it mad?
They were like, but you see at the start, like we were using like litter picks to take them off people and put them into like like
Step that distance,
boxes
you know.
and stuff. See, by the end of it, we had kids in headlocks sticking them up their noses because the parents couldn't do them because we just came conditioned to it.
Yeah.
And we were like, we've definitely had COVID a few times. Like.
It's just like even whenever I went into labour and they were like, oh yeah, and they're like, oh, we need to do a COVID test, and I was just like, they wheeled me into this test. We need
Like,
to
I'm
do a
here
COVID test.
regardless,
I was
what are
like,
you gonna
the
do?
baby is coming. Like we're in the hospital
Aye.
already. I've seen people, but they're like, wouldn't let me go to the next bit until the COVID.
Did you have COVID? Did you ever have COVID?
I had it after that, but not during that. I think I would have like literally maybe died of a panic attack if I had COVID during the point when everyone was going about it. Like
I had it, and
'Cause
I
you were,
had
like,
it for like
diseased.
I kept
Yeah.
testing for like days, and I was so ill, and I was like, I don't know what it is. But one of the people who train here, her sister Donna, she was like, you need to go up to, if you're not feeling well, you need to go up to Antrim. I went up to Antrim, and that's when I realized how far back you stick that swab.
Oh, yeah.
So I was only swabbing like here.
Yeah.
I felt it at the back of my eye.
Yeah, it's
and your woman came
horrible.
in like 30 minutes later, she's like, you've got COVID. And I was
Yeah.
like, thank God, I was something worse. Was wrong. And I had to drive home.
Yeah.
But, like, she nearly took my eyeball. Like.
yeah, no, it
We
was
were
horrific.
floored. Remember, we used to just walk down the stairs. We needed to sit down because it was
Yeah.
just so bad.
Well, that was
Yeah.
that was the first time. That was the second time, remember, because we were back training. And all.
Oh yes, then
You
we
didn't have to. You didn't have to really isolate
No,
that much.
it became completely different. But yeah, it's just it's
But you
But
lay,
it's
you
still
lay in a
around, though.
paddling pool for like a week because you
I
were
was
really
heavily pregnant
really
and I was
pregnant.
so sick. I
It
was
was
like,
so
I can't
hot
do
too.
anything else.
It was just
kind
something.
of panicked a wee bit, like because that like sort of breathing and all. I remember when I had it, like I couldn't get a proper breath and all. So there is a wee bit of panic.
And I
Like,
still can't really smell or nothing. So
That-
that's it, yeah,
That,
I know my
that
sense smells
2020
so-
summer was a summer though. That was a lovely
Yeah.
summer, and we were all off.
That's
What
it.
more
No,
could
we
you
weren't
want?
all off.
I was
We were
off.
all off.
yeah, no, that was it exactly. I was
Last
just
time I had a good break, I'll be honest.
But it is mad. Like, and it just seems like so long ago now.
it feels like a different. Like it doesn't really feel real.
I know.
Can't believe we all fell for that.
I know.
And
Well, I feel really sorry for people that had babies during COVID because, like I always say, like
I
my
didn't
group
get-
of baby friends, baby mummy friends now come from Elsie, my oldest girl. And now, so I felt okay that I was actually kind of delighted that COVID hit whenever I was pregnant because nobody could visit. I didn't have to go anywhere. I didn't have to get dressed up. Could slouch about. I could spend quality time with my oldest.
Yes,
And then when
for the
Marla
longer.
came, it was like a lovely, slow sort of time in life. So it felt like standstill was
Yeah, that
brilliant
was
for
nice.
us. It actually worked for us. But I just remember thinking, like, if that had happened first time round, and I didn't have the group of girls that I have that I met
I'd be
through
very
baby
lonely.
clubs, postnatal, you know, the yoga, baby yoga, all those different little groups.
When you're
Yeah.
talking,
No.
we're talking about jobs that didn't exist 10 years ago. Baby yoga,
I know,
mad.
I know,
Fair play. to them.
crazy.
And they're making a great living.
I'm telling you, see, the rule in my house was if you couldn't walk to a club and walk home, you weren't going.
Yeah, well, we walked everywhere.
Now kids get dropped off lifts and laid.
I never
over
did
them.
any after school clubs or nothing, you know.
No. Actually remember my mummy telling me whenever, because I actually thought I wanted to go to Donaghmore Convent, and because one of my best friends from primary school was going to it, and I played a lot of camogie at the time, loved it, and they didn't have. Oh no, they did have camogie, but you had to get like a transfer bus. So mum would have to lift me in the evenings rather than a direct bus, basically till close enough to my house. It's like, well, if you want to play camogie, you may go till the academy because I'm not lifting you.
I know.
No problem.
that was,
Yeah.
that was
the rule.
just what it was.
And like it
You
wasn't, I didn't
go.
even take that as hard enough. I was like, right, okay. So I went to the other school just so
Imagine
that.
that to a child now. You know, they'd be like, no, I need to go
Probably,
to
yeah.
ballet or I need to go to football or swimming
Yeah.
or whatever.
I remember going to Macara Cinema, and you know what you predict the time. Oh, the movie says it runs for 90 minutes. It starts at 9, over 10:30. Dad, you left me about 10:30.
Yeah.
We went out, it was about 11:15. He was away.
Yeah.
We had to get a different way home.
Yeah.
I was only 15.
Yeah.
way.
I'll never forget it.
No.
Instead of finding
We
my way home.
did that.
It's completely different. Like even now,
He was working, he was texting me.
I laugh at the amount of activities the girls have, and like it's me. Like I have created this because
Yeah.
they didn't
Yes.
wake up and say, "Let's go
No,
and do
people's not doing
rugby
anything.
taps." Like, but no, that's far better.
She
Whereas
used to take me a bus swimming when she was like, what,
That's all.
10
she's
weeks
doing.
old?
Oh yeah, so me too. But the girls go to so much, and then I'm like running around going, oh, "You have this," and then now they're coming home asking to do stuff, and I'm like, "No, we don't have any more days." And I'm like, "They're 6 and 4. Like, do you know what I mean?" And they have like
They have the best
swim
social life.
club, hockey club.
Because we obviously train a lot of females here, and one of the things is like, oh, how can you not fit in your 3 sessions? It's 3 hours a week. It's 3 hours to yourself. It's like, I can't do the evenings. And you're like, why? And they're like, because the kids are out Monday, Tuesday,
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the games on Saturdays. And I said, what about mornings? Can't, the husband's away to work at 6. Like, geez, what can we
There
do
is,
here?
yeah, it is. It's if you don't have during the day. Like I'm very lucky because what I do is very flexible, so I can kind of within reason suit myself.
You
and
say
then
it's flexible, but it's non-stop, isn't it?
this is it.
Oh,
So
yes.
people like there's massive benefits. I get it. People say you're able to run your kids to school most days,
Yeah.
most mornings, and pick them up most
And that's
days.
lovely, yes.
And that's why I do what I do too. That is part of it. Like especially when the girls come along, but like they don't say that you're sitting there at like 1 o'clock at night trying to get back to emails or finishing something off. Do you know what I mean? There's no 5 o'clock off.
No.
And it's when they're not there. I always say I try to do as much work when they're not about, so it doesn't
Yeah.
like. Especially the nature of my work is on the phone, and I've become so much more conscious
Yeah.
of being. It looks like I'm
I have
doing
a
it, but
groove in my finger where my phone sits
Yeah,
perfectly
like we're-
because it's never
It rings
never
on
in
the
my
phone.
hand.
And Mabel's now at the stage sometimes like, are you doing, yeah, I'll be like, she's like, are you doing work, mummy? You know,
Yeah.
because I have
Aye.
my phone in my hand.
It's
you
so
know.
sad to hear them say
it is, yeah. And they get so like about even having the phone. And Elsie says to me already, "When can I get my phone? When can I get a phone?"
Oh.
She's P2.
Aye.
No, she's not getting it on any. But the fact that she thinks already she needs it because that's probably what she sees us at.
Mabel just turned 3, right? And I would always, I put everything in a bag and then I would go with my phone in my hand and she'll put her bag on. She's like, I'm going to work, where's my phone?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah. It's scary, like, isn't it?
and after the
It's
first
not
couple of
fun,
times you
like,
see,
but-
now I'm like, that's all she sees
Yeah.
is me going out with a bag on the phone. See you
Oh,
tomorrow.
Absolutely. Elsie makes YouTube videos. Now she does not have a YouTube, but she thinks she does, and she has the camera set up. And I actually got her one that has a wee tripod on it because she had just a wee baby camera, and she was trying to lean it against stuff all the time. So there's a wee tripod, and she sits there, and every new toy she gets, she's like, "Okay, this is my new toy," and like.
Oh,
And then
that's
she'll
so
say to
sweet
me,
though.
"Put it on my YouTube," and I'm like, "Yeah, no problem with that." And I just
Oh, go
like
on,
don't
set
do
up
it.
a wee private YouTube.
And then she says like, "How many likes did I get?" I'm like I just
you don't even
part
want
of
to
me
know
is like
about
it's
likes,
funny, but I'm also like part of me is like this is terrifying. She has just turned 6. She only turned 6 at the end of August. Same
Yes,
day, Jerry girl.
Was she
Yeah,
29th
birthday
birthday?
twins, yeah. Mhm.
And I was like, and she's already thinking about it, so also
No.
thinking, not only thinking about making it, thinking about how it's being received. And like, I feel like
Are they worrying bits how she's wearing it?
like,
It's
do I
because
give
maybe-
that out? Like, do I go, like, where is this being picked up?
But it's
from?
everywhere though. If it wasn't coming from
everywhere.
you, should be getting it.
But even because I don't do YouTube, I never watch it and I don't do
No.
YouTube videos, and she'll always say like, subscribe below. Like, so that's from so I
That's
YouTube
so
is
cute.
banned.
We don't
banned
watch
in our
YouTube
house.
in
I'm
our house.
totally banned. It's
It's
absolutely.
Americanizing kids.
It's not only that. Their behavior after it is insane. She was turning into a wasp.
As soon as you took an
As
iPad
soon as
or
you get
anything.
off, like, and the way she spoke to me and everything
That's
was so
so
out of
true.
character. Really,
so
really,
true.
like it was like she was. It's like, you know, when we watched too much, she was wired, overwhelmed, and then she was just like absolute, like some sort of crazed
Nah,
child.
that's so
And I was
true.
like, this has been banned. I don't mind if you watch Disney, Netflix, whatever else. I don't mind a bit of screen time. But YouTube was just, I think it was that it was going on and on and on. They were just absolute zombies in front of
Yeah.
it. And the more parents I talked to, they said the same. So it's currently banned in our house. But like she got to subscribe with me from watching it.
I some of the mummies in my remama class say when their kids are watching an iPad, it could be YouTube, they're just like they cannot hear anything, they can't do anything else. Whereas sometimes whenever Mabel's watching her iPad or TV, like she'll eat her dinner better because she's not paying attention to her dinner,
Yeah.
paying
Yeah.
attention to the TV because she's not a
Yeah.
good eater at our house. So I'm like, put the iPad on, eat your dinner. Because then it's done, and which it
Yeah.
works in my favor. We're not into YouTube or anything yet, but as you say, like Peppa's on or JJ or whatever,
Yeah.
and it distracts her. But
Absolutely.
she can also, well, she pretends she doesn't hear, but she can hear the very best.
So we set Mabel up her own Instagram whenever she was born. It's got 160 posts, but it's only like friends and family that follow,
Yes.
so like it's all her best memories. I think that's a really nice
That's
thing
a
to do.
lovely idea.
Like,
Yeah.
it goes all the way back.
So she
Alex
can
in
look
charge
at
of
it when
this.
she's older, and see
We're not giving her
everything.
the password because a 16-year-old kid will do.
Oh,
So
delete
they'll
that.
do
Or
it,
she'd be
aye.
mortified
And
by
if,
that.
if I
Like,
had
yeah.
that, I would love
So
it.
whenever we'll let her follow it, and then we'll keep adding to it, and then whenever she's like 26, we'll be like, here, you can have this. Now.
It's so sweet,
That
to
is
look back,
so lovely. Because I think that's a really good idea. Because what I struggle with now is the volume of photos I have of the girls. Like I sat down, like still, I like my sister's so good. Like she is like first year of all, like she has 3 kids all done out in like second year and all their birthdays and all. Like I have all the photos, but they're not. I actually the sheer volume of content I have of the girls, it's like nearly impossible.
Yeah, you'd
to
be
trim
there
it
forever.
down. You really need it. I'm gonna have to take like a month's holidays and try and work through it, sort of thing. So something like that is actually nice to pinpoint.
So nice, all the big
Moments.
I'd be the same as you. I
have.
have them all. Like I have like 60,000 photos on my phone.
horrendous, yeah.
I always took a selfie every time I put Mabel to bed, and I was going to make something off it, but I'm like, there's 300 of them there. What do I do now? Because you just pick the best hand.
It was like people that were doing those where they took a picture of their baby every single day for a year,
Yes.
and it went and I was like,
see,
that
that's
is
cool.
class.
yes, I
like
got an
you
enjoyment
watch
that.
it all, and you're
You
like,
done that?
Kiva.
That's lovely.
Yeah, so nice.
it is, yeah. But I'm just very not good at stuff like
No,
that.
me
Like
neither.
you started, and then
we
I'm
used to
like,
do, the fruits for the bump, and we used to hold the fruit for
Yeah.
the bump, and then one week it was
It's
like,
got too complicated.
it was ridiculous. So like one week it was like a really small onion, and then next week it was a massive pepper because I couldn't get anything different. And then the week after it'd be something really small again. I was
Yeah.
like, this isn't working.
No, it's kind of, and then also like I find now with having Marla, like Elsie was like she moved a finger, we're like, oh, take a picture. Oh, she moved one, oh, take a picture. So like there's like thousands of pictures of Elsie. So then when you go to Marla, there's not thousands. And also we were locked down, so I think we were so we're kind of like together. We didn't go anywhere. And I
Yes.
found you took pictures when we had first day at the farm for all this
Yes.
sort of crack. And then I'm like, oh gosh, like I don't know if I can do.
I'm the
I
third
need
child.
a really.
I'm the third child, and there's no baby pictures of me.
Oh, yeah,
There's
but-
none. There's none of me like younger than like what, 2 years old.
And it's, you just thought there's
Trauma-
something fishy going on there.
I was like, it makes sense because I'm not like any of you.
Yeah.
I'm only joking.
But it is kind of true, and then you're like, oh gosh, I need to find a way to even this
I
out
know,
before
yeah.
I start putting them out, because I don't want them to think that there's favors. It's just the sort of thing you do with
I know,
first child.
yeah.
isn't it?
As I said, because my granddad would have been the one that took all the pictures. My granddad wasn't around whenever I was born, so that's what they were saying. I was
Yeah.
like, I completely understand that.
Yeah.
It's fair enough.
But it wasn't the same. Like
It's not like cameras were on phones back then.
No, and there was one album of us, like, and I still thought that was loads. We picked them out, and sure, half of them ended up in school on a wall somewhere
Yeah.
that you had to pull them in for your first day or whatever. So, like, it's very slight what there is now. And I'm like, in some ways, like,
That's really nicer though.
But I stress myself out. I don't know about you, about not having enough. Like I look at how other mummies maybe have packaged them up and done albums, and have loads of photo tiles and stuff, and they look lovely. And then I'm like, oh, they're gonna look back and think I didn't love them enough because I didn't do that, and they won't have all this. And I'm like I look back at the 15 photos of me between the ages of 1 and 5,
And you felt loved,
and I don't think any I'm just like, I'm happy enough for those.
I always
15
make
photos,
make this joke that Alex or Mabel's going to think that her and her mummy just went everywhere together.
Well, no, he said that too. He's like, sure, I might as well have died. Like, he says all the time because he's like, well, sure, there's no. And I'm like, now again, I'm like, oh gosh, yeah, take a picture of you
But
too.
I just never well, he always complains either my camera's crap or I just don't have it out, or
Yeah.
like I tried to video something and Keith and Mabel were in this snow sled yesterday, but by the time I had my camera out, she sees you taking out, she stops.
Yeah,
So you have to do it on the sly.
it is. And sometimes like it is hard. But Pete says, I'm trying really hard. Yeah, but then sometimes he's like, oh, I don't want to get in. Like he's, and I'm like, well, one day you'll wish you were in more of these. But
you
yeah.
never regret the photo you take.
No, exactly. That is actually really, really true. Even beforehand, like even now, looking back on pictures that I used to hate, like I remember getting some of my wedding pictures, like I love most of them, just the ones of you, when you're like really conscious of yourself. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like I love the pictures in general, but I remember like, oh God, look at me, like I thought nobody's seeing that. And I look back now and I'm like, look at me. Like, I would give anything to look like that again on my bad day. Like, it's just crazy. When
I'm sure
you're
they're
living it.
beautiful.
No, but you know, at the time, I remember like
You're
properly crying.
your biggest critic. Like.
Yeah, you absolutely are. But it's like if I had deleted them then and got rid of them, I would be devastated.
Yeah.
Now.
Well, it's the same now. Like, you see if you look back at pictures of the before and afters, if you ever took them in the gym, like, I'd give anything to be a before again.
I know. That's exactly it. The before, like I did a wee reel one time and it was like, because people, I have this thing, like people are massive, like before and after, I get it. People love it before and after and we've all kind of had it. But like my thing is like with me, my after that I've kind of come to now, it's like, I think there's like a middle bit. So like, before and after always sort of implies that the before is bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
And
like there's
after
something
you're
that needs
done,
to change and the
I would
after's
take my befores.
and the after's better. Whereas I always said my before I started to like this latest journey after the girls, like I loved my before. I was
Yeah.
very happy with it. So it wasn't like a before and after, it was like a before, then like some sort of trauma or something has gone on in life that's changed things, and then an after. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily mean that your before isn't always your before.
Yeah.
There was a before your before, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That you were very happy with. Whereas I think sometimes the before and after can be very like black and white, like this was before and then this was after. But you're like, no, there was a whole life here
Yeah.
of stuff that you were happy with, but something has triggered
Yeah.
this to then need to become this.
That's very true.
Do you know what I mean?
It's almost like you're going back to your before.
Yes,
Yeah, I
you're
like
nearly. You're after. You're in your after. You're
Just
actually. We're
finding
trying to
yourself
be your.
again. Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, and I just think sometimes like we do kind of lose sight of that. You know, that sort of way.
It's easy to get, like, when life gets busy and like, you know, you just start slipping and you end up bad diet, no
Absolutely.
exercise, and you're just
Absolutely.
focused on one thing and you forget to look after yourself. Especially when kids come along.
100%.
See, the most selfish people I've ever met is mothers,
Yeah.
honestly, because they just give up their whole life, their whole everything, just to look after their kids.
And it's nearly like sometimes now I wish you go back and sort of shake yourself a wee bit because nobody's asking that of you. Like we put ourselves through martyrdom for no reason. Like the child,
They
like
don't even appreciate it.
they don't. Like now, like they don't even remember. Like what do they really remember? Yes, you were there from all, but like you could have done probably as like you're like wearing yourself absolute thin. Like I remember not going on hen parties, not going on nights out. Now Elsie would have been about 3.5 months old. Like, you know, she has no idea if I'm there or not. Like, but I thought she's going to be so traumatized by me not putting her to bed.
Well,
Well,
that
did you
I
notice a
can-
difference the second time around with Marla, you know?
Absolutely. I was
Yeah.
so much more, and I would say Marla's a much more independent child now. Like, poor Elsie to this day has real attachment issues. Not issues, real attachment to me. Like,
said mommy's
she really struggles
won't,
to
like,
leave.
you see if there's a dummy there, Mabel's there, she'll call her in from the kitchen and be like,
Needs a wee lump.
but like we I would say we're very, very good parents. We kid wants for nothing.
Yeah.
We would do anything for her. We're always there for her. Like, put her to bed, everything.
Yeah.
Yesterday at the park, a wee woman said to her, "Isn't that a lovely scooter?" And she snarled at her.
Oh,
and I
that-
was like,
yeah.
I can't believe it. We have to take this shit
Yeah.
out in public. Like, didn't she?
That's my Marla. But I get,
No. I was like, she's not always like that.
No.
But she is.
Yeah. It's like they just are like, it's just, I don't know. It's just.
As if it's her world and we're all just wee parts of it.
Yeah, but you give up everything as a mummy, you know. But you think that's you being the best mummy you can be, and like
Yeah.
at the time you couldn't have told me any different. And I look back now and think like it would have actually been better for Elsie if I had let her be looked after by her, like family, you know, family friends, or left a wee bit more, because her struggle to leave me now wouldn't be as bad.
Yeah.
Like I look at kids that have to go to creche now because mum and dad's working. It's very normal. Them kids walk into school a lot easier. The majority, not every
Oh, no,
child,
I
but
never even thought
a
of
thing. But they walk in really easy. My Elsie, like it was as if we were leaving her forever. Like it actually would have broke your heart. Like
That's
the
every time we
screeching
drop her.
and
I know,
screaming. Yeah.
Mabel's the same.
And to this day, my Elsie's 6, and even she won't even stay over at her granny and granda's. Like she'll go for the day, but she's like, I need my mummy. Like, you know, and it nearly breaks my heart that I feel like I've done that in a way to her, because she now is like really struggles with attachment, and that was me being the best mummy I could be. Do you know, that sort of
Oh,
way?
we're
So there's
for
no
it.
rule book, like.
No, there's not, but
And
it's
then
just
sometimes
really hard.
that's where the negative social media comes in, because you see all these picture perfect, and you know, that's the negative side of it. You know, like I have to be like this or do this to
Yeah.
make the child think we love them more, or whatever.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, there is. And
So
it's-
much pressure.
It's all circumstance too. Like people wish for babies for a long time, and you had this little thing, and it is, you know, they
Mm-hmm.
are so precious to you. So then you can be forgiven to just not wanting anyone to
I
get
know.
involved,
Yeah.
and what. So it's very circumstantial too.
Yeah.
Do you know
a lot,
that
a lot
sort
of
way?
pride comes into it as well. Like we lived in Alex's mum's house whenever we first had Mabel and stuff, before we bought our own house. But like even just to leave her with her was very prideful. We were like, no, we can do this. We've got this. No,
Yes.
if Alex is away, I'll stay at home and look after
Yeah.
him, or vice versa.
Yeah.
And like we never asked for help, and now we're
Yeah.
anyone that's having kids now, we're like, take the help.
I
Anyone-
said that. That was the
Yeah.
first thing I said to my brother when he had a wee one who's only a year. It's like, if people offer,
Take
just
it.
take it
Oh.
because you're doing better by the child. Not
And doing
better,
better
but
for you, though, too.
everyone. Yeah, everyone gets a wee an hour at the gym, and the child realizes mummy comes back, daddy
Yeah.
comes back. Do you know what I
Not
mean?
even that,
They're
like,
learning
if
that
you're leaving it with like, their grandparents for it, them, her, he, whatever, if you're leaving them for like an hour or two, they're going to get so much attention that hour or two because
Absolutely.
like when it's us, we would just be like,
Maybe making the dinner,
Yeah.
cleaning, you know.
Absolutely,
Like-
because you're doing everything. But I also look back and like my fondest childhood memories are with my granny.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, we're nearly depriving kids these days from it because you're just like, no, well, I can do. You don't need, we feel like we're burdening the grannies or burdening this, and also that we need to do it. And I'm like, well, you know what? I love
I know,
my
I love
granny
it too,
looking
yeah.
after.
so that'll make us really good grandparents because whenever our kids are
Yeah.
like,
We'll want to take them
I'll be like-
Absolutely, I'd be like,
yeah.
probably I'll take them to live
go
with
to
me.
the gym,
Yeah.
I've got this.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
that's all you want.
And it is a learning curve. And like, I think you see it on Instagram all the time, and it is really true. It's like, you have to remember that your parents have only lived this life once too.
That's true.
Do you know,
you
we're
forget
all
something,
only
isn't it?
going through these stages. So we've got to this stage of life and we have our, experiences and beliefs and social media and Google to help us understand and formulate opinions of what we have now.
Mm-hmm.
They had none of that.
I know.
And they're just working through where they are and, and
You
what
forget
they
that
know.
when you're in the middle of it, you know.
It's their first time being
Yeah.
grannies. It's their
You
first
know
time
what's
being...
mad though? Do you know what
older people.
I think is baffles me? My dad would have been my dad would have worked 70 hours a week. So he would have been always working, and whenever he was home, he was just like, he wouldn't have like interacted with the kids or anything because he was just tired and he
Yeah.
just worked all the time. You see now when I see him with Mabel and all, and
Oh,
he's
yeah.
good and going with them and all, and he's having the best time and he wants them all the time. And I'm like, who's this man?
Yeah, but they say that about all parents. I
I
think
know.
grandparents in general, it's like, but probably it's just the time that they never had. And
Yeah.
I would say, although probably none of them would admit it, there's probably a sense of regret. Like,
Yeah.
we look back now at things that we're like, I wish I'd spent a bit more time. I wish I'd done, even when they're like them first
Yeah.
12 months, you're like, I wish I didn't bother getting dressed and I just lay with them and done this there. So can you imagine going through a whole childhood of, the difference, the
Yeah,
shift that we've had
Yeah.
from us having kids to them having kids? They're probably like, oh, he didn't spend enough time. And especially daddies maybe because
very much so.
they
They'd
went
have
out
been
and
the
worked and
breadwinners, yeah.
dread,
That was
and that
just
was
how it
just a fact of life. They didn't do bath times, they didn't do play times.
No,
Really, that was mummy's job. And compared to now, and I'd say a lot of them are looking at daddies now, like sons having kids, and like looking at the relationship they're having with their children and thinking, gosh, I would love to have that back. So the grandkids are kind of that
And they get a bit
opportunity.
of break.
Even,
You know what
it's
it's
even Mabel, my mum and dad were going to look after Mabel last week, was it? When was that?
Last week I went.
But then it all changed and it was actually supposed to be a Saturday instead of a Sunday or something like that there. So we didn't need them to look after her. My dad was gutted and he was like, go on, we'll still take her. And I was like,
Yeah.
right, okay.
I know.
You have
That's
to-
lovely though.
Yeah.
It is really, really lovely.
Oh, aye, but it is nice to see. But I'm just sort of like, "Oh, you didn't hang out with me, did you? Yeah, big
Yeah.
full bag.
But no, you're right.
But then we had
So-
our grandparents, as you say.
exactly, they were kind of there too.
It was probably until I was about 19. This was turned into a therapy session.
Yeah.
Probably about 19. That I really, like, I started like becoming my dad's friend, and now I've never been as close to my dad as I am now.
Yeah.
But it's lovely. Like I'll not fault it.
Yeah. No, exactly. But yeah, coming from like all the the parent thing, I just think like having babies is a massive change in life for
Shocking.
for
We were so underprepared.
You are naive to have your first one and then you try and prepare everybody else, but no, you can
You have
say
to just go
everything.
through
You
it.
just got to do it.
Yeah.
We sat down and we were like,
You're
right, we're going to
lucky
have a
enough to do
baby.
it, no?
We talked about it. We were like, we'll have a baby, and then.
Yeah.
We got it in one go me. Never missed. Haven't
yeah,
missed
not
yet.
you.
no,
Not
I
you.
didn't do
Yeah,
anything.
your man
You
down,
work
your
it.
man down at the scam place was like, he called me a rooster, and that was me. I was like, right, okay. I was like, that's what I'm known as from my on the rooster. But then we would sit, going through the pregnancy and stuff, and we were like, oh, whenever like I'm working in the gym, you could come down, we could get lunch and go for a walk around the hospital ring, and then you stay for half a day and then go home and all.
This is with
Nope.
the baby. Didn't you?
That's not happened. This is like it just went straight out the window, didn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's so much work.
And also you become like just terrified of going out in case they cry. Like I remember us not going places because we were like, she might cry. And now would you ever be offended by a baby, like a baby crying in a pram? Like I don't know who we thought.
And even
like,
back
what
in the
baby
day,
kids cry.
remember you'd get on the plane and you'd hear a kid crying, you're like, oh, for goodness
Yeah.
sake, we're in for a treat now. But then now you're like, oh, the poor wee
know.
child,
They're
or
like-
something.
When
you know.
I've never. This sounds weird. I never bothered with weans or kids or anything. I just never liked them. They're just they're full of disease. And stuff.
At this time of year, they are.
They are, yeah. That's
I was getting us lunch before this, and there was a wee girl in the shop I was in, and she was wearing she was wearing Paw Patrol shoes. Like, oh, oh, your Paw Patrol shoes. No, and she was showing me it was Sky on the side. No,
I know.
I was having the best time with her. And I was like, hold on a second, this is weird. I'm 31, that kid's 3.
Yeah, I just think people are terrified of kids. I think if you don't have kids, they're terrifying because you don't know. They could just turn around and be like, they could just hang up and scream
because
at them.
they have no filter.
Yeah, they have no filter, which is amazing, but it literally could go anywhere. So most people are just like, just avoid the child because who knows what they're going to say.
You think they're really fragile and all too whenever they're
Yeah.
so resilient. Like Mabel's very resilient.
Like, just think of the fun news you're going to have. You're going to be like 3 sisters when the girls get older, you know, and the fights.
Yes.
You know, they're not going to be good at the time, but you'll look back and you'll be fighting over makeup and
I know.
clothes. And all.
I find that with
Your
Elsie
husband's going to be.
Yeah, Elsie already is like, sometimes we're having arguments and I'm like, Danielle, she is 6, stop arguing with her, because she's like, it's being like confronted by a mini version of yourself. You're like, you are so annoying. She's like, and like, we know how to
He's probably
wind
just
each other.
laughing as if like, yep, you stay on, you know.
We know how to wind each other up, but then Pete will step in and be like, go easy on her, Danielle, and she's like, don't speak to my mummy like that, like, because we're like, yeah, don't speak to us like that, like we're still on the same team just because we're fighting.
That's so true, because if them two are at it, and I'll say the same thing, and then Mabel will be like, no, you say sorry to mummy, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what did I do wrong? I'm on your side.
Yeah, Elsie be like, stop talking, like, and we're both, then we both like look at each other and be like, he's so annoying. And we start again. I'm like, I kind of love it.
But you know, when you say that, there's a lady I was talking to this morning, and her daughter's away to university, so she just started.
Yeah.
And she says, you know, she would always have a go at her about, you know, taking stuff out of her wardrobe. She says she went and checked her suitcase last night, and there was like 4 jumpers in it, but she didn't say nothing. And I was like, oh, I was like, why not? And she's like, 'cause I always say something, but it's always just for a bit of crack. She doesn't care. She takes her
Yeah,
clothes on. I was
exactly.
like,
And
that's
there's
so lovely.
something nice that
I know,
they
yeah.
want
That's
to
just
take
the
it.
way-
I
yeah.
think that's lovely.
Like normally she would have a go at her, you know, but not like she would still let her take it. But she says, I just
Like,
like
oh, you
that.
my jumper again or whatever, you know.
it's one
Yeah.
of them nice jumpers too. I was like, good pair.
Is that the thing though? Brands are such a big deal now, and like the mummies can afford it, and the kids don't. Just like all this 16-year-olds looking to steal like the branded jumpers for you. I didn't want to steal any of my mummy's stuff, and I
Neither cardigans.
She would be like, "Do you know what? I have a wee white cardigan. I have that," and I'm like, "No thanks." Whereas now the kids want it, because
Yeah.
like again, like what my mum was wearing when she was like in her 30s, early 40s, like isn't what like we were wearing
No.
now, even though they're still not too bad, but it wasn't the same. Whereas there's like, you can now wear sort of the same clothes for about 30 years. You know, the same brands kind of work
My
for
mum
like
always
16
asks
year olds
me,
to
she's like,
56.
when will I start like dressing like a granny, or
Yeah.
you know, like, and I'm like, I don't know, you know.
Usually when she gets home and she puts on her home
You know, when we
outfit.
think
Yeah.
back like 30 years ago, our granny looked like a granny.
Absolutely.
Like, but if I think Mabel looking at mum, she doesn't look like a granny.
Yeah.
So it's just where it's
Yeah.
so strange.
Like
now, the
60, like when
change.
my granny, I remember looking back, because me and my granny had the same birthday, and her 65th birthday, which obviously was a big deal and a bit of a party for, was my 9th birthday. And I look at that, and she was 65, and she had the pleated skirt, the wee silk blouse, the wee brooch, the cardigan, the proper like blue rinse, and like tight
And she probably
curls
had
out, and the
curls all
glasses.
done.
Like she looks like a 90-year-old
Yes.
now, and I'm like 65. Like my mum will
that's
be
young now.
70
I
this
know.
year,
Mad.
and like she's in jeans and a jumper.
The
running up to the shop.
65-year-olds back in would have been like, look at that there, we pleated skirt.
Isn't it crazy
I
though?
know.
Getting a wee bit ankle
like,
out.
they don't. They just like don't. You don't. Nobody has fallen into that
No.
now. Like
I
you,
can't
you're like
imagine my mum being like
90
that at all.
before people get to that point.
Yeah, which is brilliant. You know, obviously that's really good, but it's mad.
Yeah.
But then there's time we're going through the full first fashion cycle, so stuff that we would have wore years
know,
ago.
that's
is coming
scary.
through. I tell you what, I was going into the shop the other day. I was telling Alex about this. And it was Sunday, so it was yesterday.
Monday, Jaker.
I was going into the shop, and there was this car pulled up first in front of me, and as they were getting out, it was like a mum, you know, dressed like, you know, somebody, they were just coming out of church, but she had like the long blue trousers on with a wee white top, and then the husband got out, he was wearing like a suit, and the daughter came out, and she was dressed, one of the younger daughters got out, she was all dressed like it's like a wee dress and everything. And the other daughter got out, and she was dressed as an emo, and I was like, emos are back.
Yeah. That is apparently a thing now.
believe it.
Yeah, I know.
I was like, and they took her to church like that. But I could have just imagined going like, she's just going through a wee emo
A wee
phase now.
face. Yeah, a wee face. the old-
But I'm talking like black Converse, black like fishnets.
I've
with
actually seen,
a
like,
skirt like was there, and like a wee black shirt, and the what do you call that? part?
Nose ring?
The septum.
Oh, the.
And the big black eyeliner and all now. It's
See, like this is the thing. Like we don't know what's going. Like, and I'm just like, because even today, Elsie refused to wear a coat. P2, not wearing. No.
absolutely.
Like it
because
was the side eye I got as she was saying, I'm not wearing that coat one. And I was like, is the coat the issue? Do we need to get a new coat? Or is it just not cool to wear a coat to P2? What is going on right now? 'Cause I'm lost. So anyway, I carried the coat to the door, hung it up for the thing with her. But I was just like, you don't, like that has come out of nowhere. Like on Friday, she wore her coat.
Yeah.
She's
They
woke
will
up
have
on
it in 2
Monday
days.
and she is not wearing a coat to school. And it was like the shoulder was going and everything else. And I was just like, you don't know what's going to come next.
And I
you
can't
know?
But I
wait
tell
to
you
see
what,
what wee phases
I
they go
followed
through
that
now.
wee emo around the shops. I always want to see what emos got out of the shop.
Stop it.
Because there, you get wee sweets and all. I was like, what's she going to get? A wee thing of liquid death there? What is it?
Did you go through any wee phases like that, like dye your hair random colours? Or?
No, I literally never dyed my hair till I was like past university, and then I dyed it once, and then this is me only started to dye it when I cut it that time. I was such
I
like,
didn't go through
good
any crazy
child.
phase. I was a good child too.
Yeah, I too busy. Like,
You had a perm once.
I got a perm once, yeah.
did you?
I never
Yeah.
seen it.
I did.
He got
I-
a perm too.
Did
He
you?
got a perm.
That's kind of all back, isn't there? A lot of
No,
boys
this
like
was 5 years ago.
Oh, right,
I
okay.
tell you
Maybe
what,
it's
me,
now, but-
me and my friend came home and we both got it done, and then we were all going out that evening, and we were going to Galgorm, and I blow dried it out. I got Alex to blow dry mine out. I walked in, he was like, "Hugh," and he called me a very bad name.
His is curly and his is straight and he's
Oh,
right.
straight as.
That's hilarious. No, I never went through anything. I was just always in like younger years, always in Adidas 3-stripe.
Oh
Yes,
no.
we are under
And
Canterbury.
Yeah,
Those ones,
and
yes.
like a red kickers jumper or something like that, and like the polo shirt, like that was me for a good 6-7 years
Yeah.
solid. Then went into
That was a
like
good time, so.
the jeans and a t-shirt, like, do you know that sort. But we did all go through the no coat phase. That's why I was laughing. But it was at least
No, but
we
you
were
never
nearly
felt the
secondary
cold.
school.
Yeah, you didn't
Never
feel the
went
cold.
without a
Not a
No.
P2, like, oh no, girls didn't. You didn't want to be
No.
bulked up with a coat, like.
No, and like if you had a boy that you fancied, he'd give you your coat, so you
Yeah.
didn't coat, you know. That
Oh,
was the
this is
rules.
tactics, is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the rules. Go home and be a bit
Bunch
chilly.
of floozies, hey, aren't they?
But yeah, no
Good
bad
times, though.
phases, just like anything for comfort.
Yeah.
So tell us, what's on the cards for Danielle Donahue in the very near future?
That is a good question.
Full High Rocks.
Who knows? Oh, full
Yes,
High Rocks.
Dublin's
We've
coming
got
up.
Dublin High Rocks, yeah, in like 7 weeks, is it?
Yeah, crazy.
Don't tell me.
16th, 17th of November, so yeah. We should take the
Yikes.
bigger podcast to Dublin.
No.
Darn.
So doing that.
Sounds like work.
Just gonna keep doing it. Who knows? Like I could decide that I'm just gonna change altogether. Now I did start to do. I've
Put your
kinda
own
get-
brand.
Well, I'd love to do my own brand, but I've got like the workings of. I was floating with this idea and kind of just trying to work out how to properly put it out there. But it's like the relaunch club. You like the re bit of it, but it's
I
actually
will
just
also see
relaunch.
you.
It's one word. No, it's not done like re. It's just relaunch.
Is it R8? Is it?
But
Is it? Yes or no?
Stop.
I have those 2 letters copyrighted.
anyway, the whole idea is because I got a lot. Like when I had the girls, so I've always, I suppose, my whole life been quite fit and active, not by choice, just by natural enjoyment of it. Also, when you come from a very small place, like the options for extracurricular activities are usually running about a football field, and that is literally it, whether you're good at it or not.
Bracha.
If you play, like you just play sport, do you know what I mean? So I kind of grew up with it. So I never really had much of an issue with weight or anything because it just always
always
active,
moving, yeah.
you know. Never really thought very much of it. And then when I had the girls and stuff, I put on a lot of weight, just lost all momentum in everything. And I suppose I didn't ever think I would be that person because like sport was always such a big part of my life, and just in general I was quite social, outgoing. I was like, I never thought I
That
would
would have hit you, know.
yeah, and it wasn't even just the physical, it was the mental side that came with that, do you know what I mean? And I really struggled. After having the girls, with my first pregnancy, Elsie's actually a twin, my oldest wee girl. So she's a twin, and we lost her sister at like 21 weeks. So I think that started the sort of spiral of, you know, I was going to the gym right up to that, even in my pregnancy, like working out, like in great shape to that point. And then I just down tools because there was like a subconscious thought in me was like, was that me? Was that me working out? Like I should have just done nothing.
And it wasn't.
And it wasn't because we actually done an autopsy and all that sort of crack. So because I couldn't rest, it actually was really affecting me. But in my head, I kind of blamed. I just was like, no, I just need to sit still and make sure this other baby is okay. So that sort of started that. And then whenever I got pregnant again with Marla, I was like, I am doing nothing. I'm not even going to walk out of your road because COVID was there.
Yeah.
So I was like, right, so COVID's coming to take the baby. And if it doesn't, I'm not moving. So I literally just down tooled and I just sat and I ate for that point because in my head I thought that's actually what I was doing in my
Yeah.
head I
Ah,
was
you were
like,
protecting
I'm
her that way.
protecting this
Yeah.
baby by like just not doing anything and piled on weight. But then with that pregnancy I think brought out like the sort of grief that I maybe didn't, or the grieving that I didn't do in the first pregnancy. Because what happened, because obviously they were twins, was as much as obviously we were devastated, heartbroken, had that whole what I thought was grief, but the fact that I was still carrying Elsie, I kind of also had to get that out of my head, and I had to be like
And you were busy with
unnaturally-
the new baby and everything.
Yeah,
of
but I
course.
had to be positive for her, and I was obviously so grateful because we didn't even know if she was going to be okay. So the rest of that pregnancy was like, we don't know if she's going to make it because you know her sister didn't, and we didn't know maybe what complications she was going to be born with and all that sort of stuff. So I think I was so focused on that, and then Elsie was just a priority that I wrapped up and just did everything by her. So we kind of like
You forgot about you know.
yeah, you forgot about me, and then also forgot about properly grieving a wee bit too, I think. But then when I got pregnant with Marla, it was like the floodgates of that sort of opened up, and I think I was like grieving, pregnant, COVID, worried, like everything sort of merged into it, and I was like, I am just not moving. And I just absolutely piled on weight, piled on, just became really antisocial till a point, like just didn't want to go anywhere, didn't want to do anything. And then I was like, right, this, I kind of actually settled that that was going to be it. I kind of had just come to a point where I was like, you know what?
is me.
I have 2 healthy babies. We're doing okay in life. I'm just going to, let's not rock the boat anymore. Do you know what I mean? And then I don't know what happened. One day I just looked in the mirror and like, I think I bawled for about 2 days straight. And it was like, just like an absolute cathartic release. And I was like, no, I need to go. I need to get back to me. And like for me, being sort of healthy in a sense of like being active and being
Social and everything.
social, like it's a big thing for me. And like I played camogie even for years, right up until I fell pregnant and stuff, so all that sort of thing went, and I think I need to get back to that. But it was obviously a lot. It was really 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 hard to walk back in the gym being so unfit, being so overweight and being so unhealthy when you walked out of that gym
Yeah, different.
like pretty fit, like really good level of fitness, good shape. Do you know, to walk back into the same people within reason and being like, it's me again, and then probably like, they never would say it,
No.
but I mean, like, you know what they were thinking, do you know, that sort of way. And it was also really hard to hear exercises being called out and circuits that you would have absolutely blasted and been
Yeah.
talking to you, and that you physically couldn't do more than 7-8 seconds of. Like an exercise station doing 7-8 seconds and like literally wanting to cry because you were embarrassed, you were awkward, you were unfit, you couldn't breathe. Like all of this was going around at once. And also in your head, which wasn't really true. You were like, everyone's watching me. They're thinking like, she's there. So it was really, really hard to get back to it. But I persevered, got there in the end, and kind of found the whole love for it again, the whole love for exercise. And then obviously as you see results, as you as well know, as soon as a few results come in, that's a
Then
real
that builds,
motivator.
yes.
But what I find, especially on social media, like I have a lot of mummies following me, and there's just a lot of people can relate to that. Not necessarily the cause of the situation, but
like
the
losing
situation,
yourself as such.
losing
Yeah.
yourself, whether that's because, you know, just having kids or some other trauma or something that's happened, or just being mummy and getting so wrapped up in it. And all of a sudden you look in the mirror and you literally don't know who's looking back. You're just like, when has this happened? Like, how have I, and it's such a short period of time. Like at this point, Marla was just turning 2. And that would mean Elsie was 5. So that was in the space of like 5.5 years.
Yeah.
You went from someone you don't recognise. And I just think so many mummies like can relate to that. So it's sort of that bit in between where the whole idea of the like relaunching yourself was like, it's not about becoming a different person completely, or it's not about being the person you were before, because that's okay
Yeah.
that they're kind of going, because you're in a different place in
Yeah,
life.
you
You,
def- yeah.
you've different priorities, you've different, like what makes you happy. Like I love being home at night now. I have no interest in going to a nightclub
Yeah,
or
but
going out, so that's not what, you know.
Back
So
in uni years, you wanted to be out partying, you know.
exactly. So you have a different set of priorities. So it's all right. So it's like relaunching that version of you
Yeah.
till, you know, what brings you a bit of happiness again. So it's sort of, it was kind of trying to merge that. What is that? Because for everyone that loses themselves, it's not always physical. It's not always cutting on weight. It's not always about getting fitter. Some people just lose interest and don't have any hobby. So I kind of had this idea of like trying to, because like these sort of taster teaser sessions of different things going on, so somebody maybe can find a new like just find a passion in life again. So whether that is arts related, whether that's fashion related, whether that's just making time to be more social, like what clubs you can join, just kind of finding some way of bringing these options
That sounds so
together
lovely.
for people. Do you know what I
Because it's
mean?
scary, as you said, like joining a new club or a gym or anything
Yeah.
for the first time. But if you make these, you know, all like-minded people looking for the same thing, they'll feel so much more comfortable going.
Absolutely. And sometimes
And then they can branch out when they feel more confident.
Well,
in it,
that's
you know.
exactly it. And then sometimes for people, like gyms down the line a wee bit. So maybe you join something else, you make a good set of friends, and you just make a pact together
Yeah.
to go, and all of a sudden it becomes
Sure,
less scary.
You're like putting a business plan right over to me.
But it's like, do you know what I mean?
I'm
So
gonna
it's
call it relaunch.
but so that was kind of like, I'd love to do something along those lines. I
Yeah.
don't know what that looks
Yes.
like right now, but I spend most of my days in my inbox with anyone that's messaging me, and it is kind of on those lines. They'll always say, how did you do it? How did you get started? What did you do? What do you do in the gym? And I'm like, what I do in the gym right now is completely irrelevant because I'm in a completely different place. That first day I walked back into
No.
the gym, if you told me I was going to be doing a high rocks,
Yeah.
3 years later, like I'd have laughed at you. Do you know what I mean? I just
Or a
wanted,
half marathon. Like.
I just wanted to get back to. I just wanted to get through that class
Yeah.
and be able to go back and be fit. And and even I say to people now, they're like, "How many classes do you do a week?" I'm going to do the same. I'm starting out. I'm like, I do 5-6 classes a week now, but I done one nearly a
Yeah.
fortnight at the start.
And then they'll be like, "What are you eating, and how often do you eat, and like what's your calorie intake?"
people
It's
just
like,
need to
it's
know
not,
you can't
it's
start
not for
here,
you.
you know.
No, and I know people say it like it's irrelevant to you, but it really is. It's like where you started, like I said, at the very start, I started that gym class and then I couldn't walk for a good 4 or 5 days,
Yeah.
even though I only done about 10 seconds in exercise, but that was where my body was and all. And even just getting that mindset to go back again, to buy gym gear. Like I couldn't wear any of the gym gear that I had in the house, to go out and have to buy gym gear that was about 5 sizes bigger and like actually go in and do it. There was a whole mental battle that was irrelevant to the gym or exercise classes or how many you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, that
That
you
was
had
a
to
different
overcome
stage.
before you got through that door. You know?
Absolutely, and I just think so many people are in that same point of view. Like it's easy to believe when you look at Instagram that everyone goes into the gym wearing a crop top and a pair of shorts, and that's how they've left the house and that's how they go. And the whole point is like you.
And do
everyone-
tricep extensions like this.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And just let them know that if you don't wear a crop top, that's fine too. You know.
Absolutely, like it's like it's just getting there. So yeah, I'd love to do something
That sounds
in
really
around
nice.
that. I don't know what that looks like, but I'd love to do something
I'm glad we're in the know. We're the early ones.
in there
know.
in that space, just because I just think it's so. I just think now, like if I had settled where I was after Marla, I was happy in a sense. Like don't get me wrong, I'm so grateful for so many things in life, but like the difference I feel now in a couple of years by just taking a bit of a punt and just put my head down. I know what you realise. They're like nobody cares. Like nobody cares, and like I know we say that, but they don't. I guarantee you, like see the amount of people that messaged me because I put up a wee video one time, like about the before, the after, the trauma, and people are somebody messaged me goes, I didn't even realize you put on. It's like they just see because I'm on camera, I suppose every day to them it was like a natural. So it's only when you see the before, the
Yes.
middle, and the after, they're like, gosh, you really lost it. Like you've done really well. How did you do that? I'm like, but you seen that happening? But people, I was the one obsessed with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were watching you for.
They were just like,
while you
she's
were
a
showing
mum.
them and just chatting to you.
Like
whatever
she's
they
had a
were.
mummy, she's had a couple of babies, she's been through a tough enough time,
Yeah.
you know, like fair enough. You're gonna find a wee bit words in my head. I was like, everyone thinks like I've just failed at life here.
Aye. It's because it's a big part of your life, but as you say, it's nothing to them.
Yeah.
You're just an extra in there.
Yeah, nobody really cares. They're only looking at themselves, and you know, in the gym now, like nobody, you probably couldn't tell what someone else is. If you're at the gym working out, most people can't tell what anyone else is wearing because you're too busy like watching
Either
yourself.
trying to
and
breathe or not pass out.
trying
or
to breathe
something,
is usually it. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, that's lovely. I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
really think
I think
that's a brilliant idea.
It's not even that it's a brilliant idea, it's because it's going to be so meaningful to you as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think that it will surpass what you ever think it's going to do.
Yeah, it's
And
just that safe
Just-
place.
It's very kind of you to do it too. It really is.
It's just that sort of like safe place, I think. And like I suppose having a platform like for so many things, like even through baby loss and things like this, and I always said like I am so grateful to have had a bit of a platform because it is one of the loneliest places to be, and you think it's just you, and then you open up and you realize many friends, family, close friends that have been through the same and you've never known about it.
Yeah.
And then with me as well, absolute strangers telling me about their experiences and all, and you all of a sudden realize that you know
You're giving them an outreach too.
yeah,
They
but
probably feel so much better being able to offload to you.
yeah, but you kind of realize that so many people go through the exact same thing, and it's just they don't have an outlet for it. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of just nice to be able to give that outlet for it. But yeah,
That's wonderful. That's so nice.
Yeah, well,
so wholesome.
So,
keep us posted on relaunch.
I will.
and we will, yeah,
That is the next stage we look forward to.
yes,
Yeah.
we would love to have you back, and we're going to invite you back. Whether you're going to make the trip, because she lives in Banbridge now, because we didn't even find out how she ended up in Banbridge.
I know.
Yeah, it's been so much still to talk about. We'll go to Banbridge next time because I want to go to the walk-in wardrobe. So I'll be like,
Do you hear that? No, we're going to Banbridge.
Yeah, road trip. I know a few places will let you set up, I'm sure.
Perfect.
Perfect. So on that is the end of episode 9, and we do want to thank Danielle for coming down. We'll tag her under this video just here so that you can go on and follow follow everything she has. She is very a prominent figure on social media. But as you're well aware after listening to that, it's not all just social media that she does. She is,
Plenty of waffle in there.
but even just from that, like, I found out so much about you, and I think that what you're doing
Great
and
job.
what you are going to do is absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
And I wouldn't blow smoke up anyone's ass. But other than that, we are back next week with episode 10. We have the wonderful Martin Larkham on, and that'll be a very interesting one too.
Yeah.
So on
Stay
that,
tuned.
thank you very much.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye. I feel like I just literally waffled. Did we talk about anything?